Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 10 of my European city, and what you can see in the background is what we're going to build today. Yes, it is another real-life inspiration thing, and this one, well, let me tell you, this was a lot of work. So I was gone for nearly a month with the series, and the reason for this is that I was actually working on this whole thing here on this loop. And I actually finished the building of it about 3 weeks ago, so I built about, I think, 11 hours on it or something like this, but I simply was having so much to edit for it, so I was literally editing the whole last week, and I think now I felt like, yes, now it is okay, now I can actually show it to you guys. And oh boy, I have to say, I love this. A little thing that might be annoying for you guys is the length of it. I know it is about 1 hour long. For this one I took chapters into this thing so that you can actually see what I'm building when, and with this I want to help you that you don't have to watch the whole thing if you aren't interested in all the processes. So if you were simply just interested in how I made the tram loop, you can search it up. I have the capitals for this hopefully in the chapters, and if you're interested in the detailing of it, I will also add it in there. So this is kind of the thing that I had for this one. Is a very long one, I know, I'm sorry for that. And yes, so back to what we're doing right now is we're building the tram entrance already for the lower deck. And the thing that we're taking inspiration of is the Schottentor. And this is a kind of transit hub, transit node that we have in Vienna. And it is having both 10 tram lines, 1 subway line, and I think 3 or 4 bus lines close to it. And this is just a very massive thing. And the reason that it is so massive is that it also has a bit of history behind it. It is called Schottentor, which is basically Scottish gate, I would call it in English. And it's called like this because this wasn't gate that they had to kind of secure the inner city. So this would be the entrance to the inner city. But in the 1860s, they transformed it into a transport hub. And after 1865, the first horse tramway was built there, and it was going to Helnarz. This is another famous place in Vienna, and this is kind of like a thing that we will always be rebuilding some stuff from. So we're kind of like taking the main inspiration I'm taking from very important stuff in Austria and in Vienna to kind of have a history behind it, and also have kind of like this thinking that I have at least some kind of idea of what I'm talking about because I basically live in the city. So this is kind of a feeling that I wanted to have for it. And yes, in the background you can see a very interesting construct. Why it's looking like this has the main reason that this is kind of like, on Google Maps you can already see it there. It is going from 2 lanes and 3 lanes, and then it's splitting off, and then it's merging in, and it is going crazy. So whatever they did there, it is looking crazy, and I love it. So this was very hard to do for me. I'm not very good with stuff like this, so I think you all should know I love doing nature, but this is just simply something that I'm not good with, so I'm very happy how it turned out. Could be definitely worse, and I think it was worth taking my time and just stepping back sometimes. So yes, this series from now will be also hopefully becoming weekly, and the American save will probably be my stream save from now on. So when you're interested in this, I will be trying to do some at least kind of weekly streams. They won't be weekly, but they will have kind of like 1 week or 2 weeks between them, I think. And the reason for this that school is getting pretty harsh right now, and I just simply can't edit two different series, so I still want to keep both of them, so the one will be in streaming one, I think. Here I'm doing it in the street that's actually coming from the Votivkirche, and it will be going to the Schottentor and into the kind of like more richer areas here already, and this is kind of like a thing that I wanted to build there, and I had a lot of fun with this. So this is kind of like a thing that I'm not doing often, and also rebuilding, I'm very bad at it, but rebuilding is actually pretty fun. And when we're already talking about rebuilding, I might have started something in the background too about this, and it might be something Japanese, but I will see about this if I want to do this in some time. Definitely not now, but in some time I might be doing another Japanese city. For this one I would be kind of like taking Tokyo for an inspiration, I think, but don't count on that. This is just something you haven't heard. Just imagine you haven't heard it. And yes, so what you can see there already is I'm starting with the upper deck. And it is on street level. There will be 2 tramways going there, I think. Wait, let me just see. Yes. No, actually 5 tram lines are going there on the top. And there will be 5 different ones on the bottom. And the reason for this is kind of like that you have the top ones are going onto the ring street that we will have in the north of the screen right now. And the lower ones will go into the south of the screen right now. So this is kind of the thing you will be having there. For this one, I'm using the wonderful tram tracks from Pudex. I just love them. They're perfect for some stuff like this, and they are quite good to use, I think. So definitely thank you if you see this video. Thank you for them. I just love them. They're so good to use. And yes, you can just like just like try around a lot with it and then just try to get them to work. And this took me so long to get right, but I think in the end I got the right feeling for it and I'm very happy with it. So what you can actually see in this video is about, let's say 5 hours of recording, because I have about 11 hours in total and 6 hours got scrapped in the process of making this video, because it was mostly repeating stuff, so I was actually scrapping out there a lot. Hope this is not a problem for you guys. I actually thought about making an unedited thing of this and reloading the raw stuff, but this would be about 11 hours and an 11-hour video I think no one would like to see, so we're definitely not going to do this, sorry. But yes, I had a lot of fun with this, so you can definitely see me there getting kind of like sucked into this thing, I would say. And yes, so now we are just kind of having the basic layout for now for the upper deck. And this is like in real life. It is kind of like that I took a lot of inspiration from this, and also I have, thankfully, I know people in Austria and in Vienna that sent me some pictures of this. And for this one I was also able to do quite a lot of the stuff like it's actually looking. And also like it's looking, also like it is feeling, so... Because I'm always having the problem that I don't get the right feeling for stuff like this. And... I'm right now thinking how I should say this, so... At first I should probably say thank you Fipsy Bipsy for making pictures of this for me. He was basically the person that sent them to me. I know it isn't 100% correct and you also know that, but I think it's fine. It is working out, okay? Don't destroy my hopes. No, I definitely need to do a rework of this I think later on, but we will see about that and how this will be working out. Also right now, sorry for my voice. I'm having a lot of struggles with school right now and I'm just pretty tired all the time. This is also one of the main reasons why I didn't do that much about editing or recording, because I was always too tired to make a good voice overlay. I think today I'm kind of like in fine state, I would say. Not perfect, but it's okay. And maybe a bit more about this thing, because you can already see it is oval shaped, and also like kind of like a bit about the architect. And the architect was Jonas. I'm just taking his first name because it will be relevant later on. And so it also got his own specific name, this tram station. It was called the Jonas Reindl. Why it was called Jonas Reindl? Reindl basically means it is kind of like this oval shaped pot, not pot, cooking pot thing. You know what I mean. And this is kind of like the thing that it remembered people about, and so they named it like this. And this is basically also still the name for some old people that are living in Vienna. And this is just kind of like a thing that we have here. And I actually have to say, I also love this build in real life and this kind of area, because it's just very cool to go there. You have the ring street that is very, very green. I love it. And with this green street in the middle, it's kind of like cutting off perfectly for the city, and I just like it, okay? And yes, so here I'm actually adding in the first pavement already, and this is kind of like the first thing that I had to do to kind of see the shape of how I want it to be and how I think it should be looking like. Just kind of to get in this kind of a typical thing of how I'm building it. I'm at first adding in the concrete that I can already see where what will be going and how it will be looking. And it's just a thing that I kind of need to do for myself, at least, just to get it like I want it to. And yes, I had to do a lot of trial and error with this actually, Reason for this is that it is a very scrammed thing and that it is very hard to build something like this in City Skylines with how the nodes work and how the connections with streets work. So I had to do a lot of cheating there with how it is looking later on. So basically also it is cut in the street, so when there is a car coming and a tram coming, none of them will stop and they would just drive over it. But I simply don't care about this at this point. I think it is okay. I think it is working out. We could definitely try to get this to work in a stream if you guys want to, but I believe it would be way too much work for us because it wouldn't be interesting to have this in a video. I already tried around for about 5 hours, but no, I don't want to spend more time now. Maybe later. So yes, what I'm doing here is just I flattened out the ground surface from this kind of inner loop. On the inner loop there won't be anything, there won't be match, there will just be grass, some grass and dirt, and some bushes on the edges, but this is it. And we will also have a kind of custom PO thing later on, but you will see this soon. And here I was firstly looking for a wall for this, because I have these interesting pillars in, and I wanted to do them. It's impossible. I had to PO them and kind of try around with them, and then I just added in some vines to get it to look better, but sadly not how I wanted it to look, but I think in the end it was definitely fine. Not 100%, but I would say 80%. And this is kind of like the most motivation for it. So now we can already see it getting shaped, and this is kind of like the point where I always have to beg for your people to subscribe and for your likes, just kind of to get at least some kind of grow on my channel, although it's pretty inactive right now, but please give me some grow, thank you. No, if you want to see more of this, please just sub to me, would be very great, I would love it. If you don't, that's also totally fine, it's up to you, so yes, decide it for yourself. Here what I'm doing now is adding in the fencing, and the fencing is just kind of like an important part for safety reasons. And there I went with the railway theme because it would be the most realistic one like it is looking in real life. So we added it, and it is having some problems on the edges there, as you might already know, but I think this is fine. I think it could be way worse. But yes, it is working out for me, all to say with this. And yes, so this is also kind of like the thinking that I'm doing right now, and I had a lot of research about this area and also about other tram stations and subway stations in Vienna, and I will see what I can do there. Also I need the kind of like U-Bahn signs for the Austrian ones. I need to make them in Blender. Already kind of working there a bit, but still needs a lot of work, so definitely stay up to date with this. This will be very interesting. This street, at first I wanted to make it easy like I have it there, but then I decided no, it will be custom. Oh boy, was this a lot of work. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I was working on this for about 2 hours or something like this, and it was way too much for myself. I'm just not so patient. I had a lot of problems with this. I was losing a lot of brain cells doing this, but I think in the end it was worth it, so I might be doing it next time even more. But yes, it is always a bit wanky with these streets, but it worked out in the end, I think, and it is showing what it should show, and this is what I want to do there. Yes, so here now I'm just kind of like fixing in some stuff and editing in like it should be. And then I realized, okay, well, now is the only time where I can actually add in the lower part. So let's get in the lower part. If it would have been that easy. Problem with these tram tracks is when you give them underground, when you give them into the tunnel, they will glitch, they won't be able to connect. So I was like, okay, no problem, I can do them without changing the elevation of them and then just being underground, but then it is clipping. Okay, I can use the normal ones, but then it isn't connecting. Until I found a path where it was connecting for me. It was kind of late in the evening, but it worked out in the end. It was about 1 o'clock, but I made it in the end, and in the end it is working, so I think it was definitely worth the hassle and worth the trying around. And actually, sorry for you guys that I'm talking so much right now, but I just have to say I love this project and I love doing it. It's taking a lot of time from myself and a lot of energy, but I think it was definitely worth it. And that is probably adding in the Votivkirche in some minutes, because the Votivkirche is just It's just incredible, I love it. I just thought about I need something like this in here because it just kind of adds in the perfect thing for me, I would say. And yes, so there I was looking at Google Maps, and the reason for this is that I had the problem that, let's say like this, I wasn't sure if I should take this wall or if I should make it custom PO'd, but then I was thinking like, wait, how many POs are this? This would be about 1k POs for this little oval thing, and I was like, no, just no, then my CD save would break after some minutes. So I changed it off. And here I have the problem with the tram tracks. Kept in a bit of the problem, but fixed it in the end, and the nose bit is hiding in so it's not clipping weirdly, but you can see it if you definitely want to see it in there when you look in the cinematics, but it isn't that much of a problem for me. I think it's working out. Not 100%, about 70%, but it's working out, so I will keep it. And yes, so we are now adding in the tramways here, and then just taking a look at how I can add them into a tunnel. And it's working out in the end like I wanted to, and like, it is looking like it should in my opinion. And yes. Also, I should probably say thank you Peter Barr for these great buildings. I placed them in some minutes. These are the worked ones, and I just love them, so thank you so much. I actually think you got them from Titan's Discord. Not sure, I think it was there. So yes, this is just kind of like some rework buildings with some better textures. I'm loving them. I've used them quite a lot in this area like this. You will see this in some minutes, I think. Actually, we are already at 30% finished with this video, and that's quite so impressive. I wouldn't thought I would have been able to talk for about 10 minutes because I have the problem that I haven't done a voice recording in about 5 weeks. That's so much time when you think about it, holy. And yes, so this is what I'm doing there, connecting it up, and always forgetting to set the day-night cycle to past, because then it is getting dark for you guys, but I wasn't realizing this until in some minutes because I was so much concentrating about this stuff. But now, if you can't see it, I'm just doing adding in the tunnel and adding it in like it should be without it looking glitched or stuff like this, glitching through the air, etc. And yes, it is working, and it is not 100%, but it is working, so I will keep it. Oh yes, and also this was an interesting process of building this stuff, let me tell you. And this was probably one of the hardest things I've done in City Skylines until this point. Just because I'm not that good with replicating stuff, but it was worth the wait and worth the hustle. Just added in the settings a bit because it was a bit too cold. I'm always having some problems like this. I'm always trying around there. I'm sorry. I can't just concentrate on one. I'm just too much jumping around for this and too much annoyed by my own colors for this. Now we are adding in the walls of the bottom ground, and this was just the retaining walls, nothing special. And then we'll be adding in the pillars, and I was like, if I don't PO them, they're extremely huge. So I PO them, scale them down, and then just place them in there. And you will see in a second, I will use these big ones there on the bottom row. And I'll just PO them down, scale them down, stretch them. And we are having some very good looking pillars. Looking like a pretty realism style that it is kind of like goes in real life, so it was fine for me. Thought about it and said to myself, yes, this is the one that I want to use. This is the one that can actually give the feeling that I want to give it there. And you can already see it is clipping through the tram line. Problem with this is the tram line is too close to the edge of the thing, so I had to push it down a bit. We're doing this in some minutes. And there was the first time that I used the copy and PO thing, and I've trained a lot with it, and now I'm way better, so now I can also align them in a perfect way and stuff like this. So in the next part I will be using the tricks that it would be actually aligned and not just Yankee stuff like this. But I think for now it is okay. It's not perfect, it's definitely not perfect, but it's okay. And also another thing, I actually think the tram line has come from the wrong side, from the wrong entrance, but I think that's fine. No one will notice this. Not one person is not living in Vienna, so hopefully. Please don't murder me for it. Please don't, but I was like, no, this would be too much work now to change it off for me. Because I was kind of like having a whole... I was going mental there, I thought, because it was pretty hard. But yes, so this is what we have done there, and I had a lot of fun with it. I'm actually still very surprised that it went like this. This is why I'm saying this that often, because I'm pretty surprised by this. And now I'm adding in the passenger tram, where they will be standing, and sadly they're standing on the wrong side. They're standing to the green path, where they shouldn't be allowed to stay, but no, I will keep it like this. And I just detailed the green thing in there, and then I already saw what I wanted to do there. And the jealousy, like kind of the being happy with it went back from this point. So there was the point where I was then like, yes, this is definitely going like I wanted to, this is turning out like I wanted to. And this is a great feeling. I love this feeling when you just realize that it's actually working, and it's not just in your mind working and not in real life working. Now we're adding in shops on the bottom level of it. That's the thing in real life, there are literally shops down there, so I'm also putting in some more, mostly vanillas. Reason for this is that they're perfect to scram that in there, just to have some details and not too many twists down there. They're on that high twist, so I just want you to see some shop fronts down there, and for this it's working out. The skip it fruit bar will be added later on top of it, on the top level of the station. You will see this later on. He got his own shoe stand there. Here adding in a small shop like it is in real life, and then there, to the direction of the section, there will be the subway station later on. Why I say later on is it will take some time to get them in. It will be about 1 week for myself to figure out the tram station. It might be actually a built one and not only an imaginary one, but I will have to see about this. I would definitely have to see about this. I'm not sure about this in any way. Now we're making a favorite thing of me, detailing nature in some seconds, even though it is just this oval thing, and God, I love doing this. This is kind of the stuff that I love to do in City Skylines, just to edit in nature like this and just add in some dirt, just make it look rough. Oh, this was so much fun. God, I love it still. This is the thing, I could do a whole series just building a forest. This would be the perfect thing with me, but I know you guys would like to watch it, so we won't be doing it. But yes, this is a thing that I actually do that I'm doing in my private time in City Skylines quite a lot. And there was just trying around with what kind of bushes I want to do and stuff like this, and it is looking kind of like this, but it will be changed in the end. There will be some less of the thicker ones, because they're making too much of this thick look, I think. Here I'm adding in the fence so that people can't cross over there. It's just kind of like a curb. Mostly curbs can keep people from going off here, because then they realize, oh wait, we shouldn't be going there. And then I'm deleting it once again. The reason is we'll be adding it in later on with the non-terrain conformables, but this is just a thing that I tried there, and it will be added in later on. Trust me. I hope. I think. But yes, here I'm just adding in another retaining wall to remove the clipping. And there was the first time where you could actually see it coming together, and this was the first time where it actually looks kind of completed in the middle of it. And then I was like, okay, yes, this is doable for me. This is something that I can achieve. Also, I would love to build the university, but there is not such a building on the workshop. We'll have to PO it. Also asked Peter Bar, but it's too big of a project, and I totally understand this. And yes, we'll just see what I can do there, I think. Might actually be a stream where we are just adding in a PO and then going crazy with it, and I'm just going meant to do it, but we'll see about this. Also today I'm trying out kind of a new stuff of moderating stuff. I'm trying to have a bit more fun there, and just kind of like get a bit away from this like professional style that I tried to do and I didn't was able to achieve because of my video quality. So this is kind of like a change that I'm doing for myself now. And yes, so this kind of like areas like this are actually some kind of landmarks, I would actually say, of Vienna. So I thought about making kind of like these landmarks from episode 1 on, and we already did the gasometers. We already did kind of like this recycling plant that I also know quite good, and just some stuff like this. So I'm always trying to rebuild some stuff at least. And yes, there was deleting it once again, and then I just adding it in a simpler way to make it look not too too scrammed, I would say. And now just adding in some bushes, and then I was like, yes, finished. Just to give it this perfect look that I would like to give it to it. And not this overkill look that it was before, because it shouldn't be that, it should just be not a total crazy thing going on there. It should just be a little nature part there. Let me just actually see, we're right now in nearly the half of the video. We did it. But yes, I'm just adding in the grass here and the bushes. And for this one I was having some problems because there are different photos of this area with different plants in this, and the reason for this is that they are, every several years they're just cutting off everything inside of there. And then they're adding in another bushes and stuff like this, and then the nature is getting it back, and then they are scrapping it once again, and this is just kind of like this whole cycle that is going on there. And I had some problems with getting it realistically, I would say. But yes, in the end it turned out quite well. Soon we will be adding in the buildings. And the buildings, they are fabulous once again. Thank you, Peter Bar. But you will now see how we'll be adding them, because we always have there some very famous ones like the Hotel Regina. It's just basically this very luxurious hotel stuff that you would imagine from a place like this. And so I've also placed this in there later on. But at first we're adding, trying to do it with some more casual buildings. Didn't have a good kind of look to it, so it was like, no, we will be doing it in a more complicated way. And there is actually the first one of them. And I will always make some smaller like areas like this so that they have an inner court there, courtyard, nothing too special. Just kind of like this thing that you somehow have in Austria quite a lot. And then I'm just adding in, looking for buildings, like older buildings, because this would be kind of like this mix of older and modernized older buildings, but not these modern big buildings. So I was just taking that look also at vanilla stuff, if I could use it, because why not? And there I found this one. This is actually vanilla. I copied it to the other side and mirrored it. Looking quite good for me. And it's kind of like fitting in the theme. And yes, I like it. I will keep it. Just adding in some trees to hide this ugly grass thing there. I could have also PO'd it down in the ground, but this would be way too much time. And it would be horrible to go into this because it says an extremely high risk count, so I didn't want to go into it and just get my PC to lag out and then just to die. So here was just looking through every single thing where I could find a building that would fit my style. And then I also found some of them, but they will be in some minutes, I think. Right now I'm just adding in the stuff here, and then I'm taking a look at like the color of it and recoloring it and etc, etc, etc. They're removing these weird signs on top of the building. I don't know why they are there. Just wanted to get rid of them. I don't like them. But yes. Then there was already like, okay, I will need to do this whole street thing with custom markings, and this was the point I realized this would take years to do. At least it felt like years, but in the end it wasn't that bad. So there I've made this side street. Pretty common in Austria. We have them to kind of like get the traffic off the main road. This is actually also a one-way road, so this is also a ring street with only one way going, and this is pretty interesting, I think. But it seems like it's working out kind of good. We have a lot of traffic on there, but not so much that you wouldn't be able to drive there, so it is definitely frequented, but not too much. And yes, the problem with so close intersections is that the AI doesn't know how to drive there. It's okay. It is working in the end. It isn't perfect, but there are actually cars sometimes clipping, but I was like, okay, it is fine, we can accept this. Also, there will be a train station there. It isn't there in real life, but there will be a train station, trust me. Not sure where it should be. I just decided on the building that I want to use, and then there I'm just kind of like marking in stuff, and then just kind of coloring the concrete, painting it on the ground, and then just work around it. Because always I'm pretty much afraid of doing some stuff like this, because it can turn out very bad, so before I'm doing too much work there, I'm making it on a very easy scale. And then I would just see about how I can make it a better scale and how I can make it look like I want it to on a detailing and realism style. And yes. So, connecting it up, this was an adventure, let me tell you. This was interesting. Worked out in the end. Skipped a lot of it. Reason, you don't want to see me fail for 1 hour trying to connect the tram line. It was actually pretty sad to see it myself, because I thought it was good this game, but wasn't able to connect somehow. Problem was I was clipping with the top one and it was always going to the top one and the top one isn't connected to this loop. Oh yes, and then I found this asset. Not happy about it. Deleted it once again. Wasn't kind of like this feeling that I wanted it to be because it was like feeling too much cartoonish. So if anyone is an asset creator from you guys, it would be so friendly to make the Ulf from I think Siemens that we use as in tram here in Austria. I would love this. This would be incredible. So definitely don't now feel pressure to do this, but if you could do this, this would be great. Actually thought about commissioning it to someone, but don't got the money for it right now, so said he won't be able to do this like this. So I just need to back to you guys. No. If any one of you is actually making assets and would actually consider doing this, I'd appreciate it, but you don't have to. And if you're interested, just hit me up on Discord. I'm nearly on every single City Skylines Discord. You can see the picture spam that I'm doing there with my diorama sometimes, so just hit me up in my direct messages. I don't have a problem with this. I like talking to people, I think. And yes. Also, we are already at 625 subs. This is incredible for me. Thank you guys. I would have imagined to get so many because I'm just usually a person that's just talking trash like now, but somehow it is interesting to have trash, it seems. At least for some people. And yes, the park here, it is a real thing. It is in front of the Votivkirche. And there's kind of like this park area that is kind of like also to have kind of like this public space to sit on. There's actually a lot of people sitting on this right now in COVID times because you can keep the area distance and stuff like this. Sadly, not a lot of them are keeping distance, but a lot of them. And yes, this is kind of like a thing that I wanted to do there, and I thought maybe I would actually add in the Votivkirche there, and yes, I did. I found the perfect asset together with Peter Bar. Thank you for your help. Thank you for your help so much. You helped me. He's actually the person that has made this only possible for me because he helped me so much. So thank you. If you're watching this, thank you. If not, I already said thank you to you in Discord, I think, so I hope at least I did, because you definitely deserve it. But yes, this is also kind of like this layout of the real park. Nothing special, and in the middle there will be a big kind of grassy area. Now, this is a custom tram entrance, because I got forced to do this, but it was a good idea to force me to do it, because then I could give it much more detail and much more love like it should deserve, I think. And yes, you can actually see this voice recording is terrible. I'm sorry for you guys, but it is my first one of the 4 weeks. Okay, it is. I have the fans there. Now this one will be added in to make kind of like these weird things that they mostly have there. It's kind of like cutting off the areas, and it's just, I think it's just for detailing and for design purposes, but not sure about it. And I just used it to hide the entrance that the trams are actually driving into a wall, and just kind of like to get rid of it to people that will be able to see it, because I don't want people to see my errors that I do in the city. It is mostly like in City Skylines, for me at least, that I will try to hide the things that I do when they don't look good. So this is basically what I'm doing most of the times. Oh yes, I'm copying again one wrong. I knew and now know that when I have the kind of crosshair there for the access, I can hold control and then I can just copy it. I know it for now, I would just be using it later on, but for this one I was using it like this, because there I wasn't aware of it, sadly. Now I'm adding in plowable grass there. I'm so happy that in this save it is working, because in my last series in the Function region it wasn't working, and it wasn't good, it was horrible. I had to use networks all the time and I think this actually crashed the save. But for now it is working, so we'll be keeping to work with it. Now I just added in it here, and now this area is slowly coming together, I think. We're now just on the basic thing of adding errors, adding mistakes, removing mistakes once again, and then just kind of adding in some vines, adding in some more details, give it some more depth, I would say. For the roof of this thing, I later on made a custom roof with plowable asphalt, just kind of to get it to the right and to have the perfect shape, because it's having a very interesting and bio-like shape, so it is very, very interesting. I like it quite a lot. So now I'm adding in the kind of walls for this, and this wasn't that hard. just covered in some areas like this one here with some road detail damage. I think actually there are some damage areas like this, so I thought about, yeah, why not just cover it up, no one would notice it, at least hopefully. And this is the best way that I got for it. And yes, so now I'm making an underground path to the other side that I can actually go down there. I will make 3 connections, one there and the other one going to the entry for the trams. There will also be an exit for the people on the other roadside. Normally it would be in the middle of the road if it would be realistic, but I don't have the kind of like time to do it realistic now. Not time, I'm not willing to, because it would be a bit too much work for myself, at least for now. Might be talking about this later on, because then we can do it, I think. It would be possible for us. They're just checking that they were working. Now I'm upgrading them to the invisible ones. And now we actually have people walking here. As always, they're first walking on the ground. I had to push it down once again, but it was working out in the end. Very happy about it, so goal was achieved, I would say. Now here I had the problem with the clipping, and I realized that it all has different heights. So I was switching them off once again and fixing them, and this was what I'm doing there. And this will actually be it from me today. So if you've enjoyed this video until now, please hit this like button and subscribe to me. Write in the comments down below what you would like to see here and what you would like to see me building, and then we will be building it. And yes, with this said, please relax and enjoy the rest of the video, and have a good day, and thank you, bye.